Hi, I'm McNamee with UBTV, and today we're here in Bristol City Centre, where Bristol with Refugees is holding a rally, as you can see, in protest of the new Nationality and Boarders Bill. So what's going on here today?
So this is a protest to go against the Nationality and Boarders Bill that's just currently been passed through Parliament. It's got another stage to go through the House of Lords, but we need protests and people to stand up against it, otherwise it is going to go through, and it's one of the most racist and hostile bills that's going through Parliament at the moment.
So this is a demonstration organised by Bristol Uni Amnesty and Bristol City of Sanctuary. It's a peaceful demonstration, and we're hearing from speakers against the Nationality and Boarders Bill that was introduced.
What is that bill?
It's a bill essentially that dehumanises people who are seeking refugee and asylum. It criminalises them for up to 4 years based on the way that they enter this country, and kind of creates the idea that refugees are criminals and that coming here is some kind of choice, when in reality it's to escape persecution.
So what makes it so racist and hostile? What are you so against about this bill?
So I've spent a lot of time in Calais in the refugee camps there, and the conditions that they're living in, the UK government is funding that. They're funding police brutality in France. They're funding people to be completely discriminated against just because of where they were born. This bill basically, it's going to start sending people back to France.
The government says that this bill is to kind of help the national safety and stop people coming from unsafe routes, but you don't think that there are any safe routes available?
There categorically aren't any safe routes available.
So do you think that that's just an excuse to kind of get this?
It completely is, and it's complete propaganda. It's not, all of the information that the government is saying is stated in completely the wrong terms. They're inducing fear in the public, and that's what they've been trying to do with this hostile environment for years and years and years, and it's working.
This bill has been described as racist and dehumanising, and I assume that you would agree with that.
Yeah, so what we've just been hearing about as well is Article 9 of the bill. Basically gives the government the right to remove citizenship of people without warning. Exactly. So I think I would define that as racist, kind of, and I think most people here today would as well.
And do you think this will increase the safety of Britons living in the UK who are maybe worried about people coming over the borders or human trafficking, or do you think this is just completely targeted at immigrants and refugees?
Yeah, I mean, for one thing, it's going to make the refugee or the asylum seeking process more difficult, and also it's actually going to kind of perpetuate and fund people smuggling, because yeah, I mean,
there's no safe and legal routes anymore.
Exactly, yeah.
Absolutely.
No, just that I feel really strongly about this cause, and yeah, I agree that it's a racist situation, and it's not going to stop people smuggling, and it's really just creating this hostile environment and just making it worse, and yeah, creating a lot of hatred. Yeah.
And it's been really great to see the turnout today. We've got a real mix of people. We've got uni students, people from all over Bristol, and I think that just shows kind of the power that we can come together. And I don't want to act like I know completely everything about this situation, because I don't. But I think that's the whole point, is that we don't have to come from a place of knowing everything, but we need to be willing to learn, willing to recognise how people are being affected, and I think that's what we're doing here today.
Brilliant, thank you.
That's all right.
So why have you come along to this rally today?
It's mainly to hear my dad speak, actually. He's doing a speech for CND, but I'm also very much disgusted by the bill as well.
Yeah, I mean, same thing. I mean, I think the fact that groups like CND are also here shows how, you know, refugee issues can spread into wider issues like the environment. You know, it's not just economic refugees, there's ecological refugees, and it's just a really important issue that I think speaks a lot.
So what is CND and what are they here to talk about today?
It's campaign against nuclear disarmament. It's to get rid of Trident and nuclear weapons.
So you were speaking today at this rally. Can you just tell me a bit about yourself and why you're involved in this cause?
Okay, I am a resident of Bristol and I believe in social justice. And I moved back here about 5 or 6 years ago, and I was looking for things to do, and I found this group that do this solidarity with people when they're having to report to the Home Office. So I was asked to speak on behalf of that group.
And so what kind of thing were you saying today at the rally?
Well, I was trying not to repeat what everyone else has said. I believe we are in a very difficult moment, and we spend a week in the media where everyone's talking about parties in Downing Street, and I just feel that there are all these bills going through Parliament and nobody is paying them attention. So we've all been trying to raise awareness to make people understand that these are terrible pieces of legislation. Like my lawyer friend said, it will be contested when it gets through. If it gets through, it will be contested in the courts. But we need to make a noise about trying to stop it going through.
So you think that this issue isn't even just one of refugees, it's a wider issue about the government and what they're spending their money on and what their priorities are?
Yeah, no, definitely. And I also think that it's important for people to come to things like this, because obviously it's good that the Christmas parties are getting so much attention in the media, but I don't think this horrific bill is getting enough scrutiny in the media, and I think it's really important to raise awareness, because I think Christmas parties are bad, but this bill is going to affect a lot more people. I think it's a lot more.
What happens when someone gets detained by the government?
So when someone gets detained, they are often kept in the police station for some time, in the police cells, so they feel like a criminal although they haven't actually committed any crime. They will then be taken to a detention centre, and the length of time they spend in the detention centre depends on whether they access a lawyer. Most people who make it to the detention centre don't eventually leave the country. I've known several people who have been in detention. They make a claim, and it's found that they've been illegally detained, and then the government has to pay them compensation.